Have you ever been scrolling through social media and suddenly felt like everyone else's life is much more beautiful? They're on vacation, getting new jobs, or having romantic moments with their partners, while we're just staring at a laptop screen, working on tasks that never seem to end. It feels like life is just stuck, until one day I realized maybe it's not my life that's lacking, but my perspective that needs fixing. From that realization, I learned about one small thing that changed everything: gratitude. This time, we're going to dive into a book titled Thanks, How the New Science of Gratitude Can Make You Happier by Robert Emmons. The core of this book is about how gratitude can make us happier. The author is a psychology professor who has studied gratitude for years. So, this isn't just empty motivation. It's backed by scientific research. Something as simple as saying thank you turns out to have a massive impact on our mental health. This book explains that gratitude is how we acknowledge the good things in our lives. We don't have to wait for things to be perfect to be grateful. On the contrary, by practicing gratitude, we feel that life is already enough, even when many desires are still unfulfilled. Robert Emmons' research found that people who regularly practice gratitude have higher levels of happiness, sleep more soundly, lower stress, even get sick less often. So, this is not just a warm feeling in the heart, but there are actually real effects on our body and mind. If you think about it, we very often feel this life is lacking, whether because of comparing ourselves on social media, work pressure, or because of life targets that never seem to finish. It feels like it's never enough. Now, that's where gratitude can be the key. Gratitude doesn't mean we stop having dreams. It doesn't mean being satisfied with the situation without wanting to grow. But gratitude makes us realize in the middle of the process of chasing something, there are still small things that we already have and deserve to be appreciated. For example, you might not have your dream job yet, but you have friends who always support you. Or you might not be able to travel abroad yet, but every week you can still hang out while laughing with best friends. All of that is part of happiness, as long as we are willing to realize it. Indeed, gratitude is like a muscle. If we keep training it, it gets stronger. At first, it might feel forced, but after a while, it becomes a habit. And when it's already a habit, we become easier at seeing the good things even when it's hard. Gratitude is like a new pair of glasses that helps us see the world more clearly. Life and its problems might stay the same, but the way we view them changes. If gratitude really makes life happier, then why are many of us still finding it hard to do? The answer is simple, because we are in the habit of focusing on what's lacking. The human brain indeed has a natural tendency to pay attention to problems. That's called negativity bias. So, for example, you get 9 good things today, but there is one bad thing. Our brain prefers to remember that bad one. For example, at the office, Yuffie worked hard doing many tasks well and were praised by the boss. But because of one presentation that wasn't maximized, you keep thinking about it. It feels like all your hard work was in vain, even though if seen as a whole, your achievements are many. Well, in today's era, it makes gratitude even harder. Social media makes it very easy for us to compare ourselves. A friend uploads a vacation photo to Japan, another shows off a new house, and we end up feeling small. Even though in reality, what people post on social media is just the best snippet of their lives, not the whole thing. Robert Emmons also once showed through his research, people who compare themselves more often with others tend to be easier to get stressed and automatically more rarely feel grateful. So, this habit of comparing oneself is really a poison for gratitude. Besides that, there is also the fast-paced culture factor. We grow up in an environment that very often says if you want to be happy, you must have this. You must achieve that. So we end up being like running a marathon without a finish line. In the end, we forget about small things that are actually already in front of our eyes. Sometimes it's not that we don't have a reason to be grateful, but it's just us being too busy looking up that we don't have time to look at what we already have. Now, the question is, if gratitude is important, but we often forget, then how can we start practicing? Well, in the book, Thanks, there are several simple but effective ways. Don't imagine it like a complicated ritual, because it can actually be done in the middle of daily routines. First, a gratitude journal. Try before going to sleep to write 3 things that made you grateful today. It doesn't have to be big things. For example, a friend helped when work was piling up or the way home wasn't congested. It looks trivial, but if done routinely, we become more sensitive to small things that make the heart happy. Emmons' research shows people who are diligent in writing a gratitude journal for just 3 weeks already look more optimistic and sleep more soundly. Second, expressing it directly. Have you ever felt really warm when someone says thank you sincerely? Well, now try the opposite. You are the one expressing it. It sounds small, but the effect is double. The person we say it to is happy, and we also feel happy. Third, remembering hard moments. This one is a bit challenging, but actually important. Try to remember the times you were falling, whether it was a work failure, a breakup, or tight finances. Then, look at your condition now. It might not be perfect, but there are surely things that are better compared to before. Fourth, seeing life as a gift. Emmons said, people who are grateful are like people who realize that this life is a gift. We can't control everything, but we can choose to appreciate what comes. Imagine getting a gift. The gift might be small, but if we appreciate it, it still feels special. The same goes for daily life. If we can see small things as a gift, we automatically feel happy more easily. I myself once tried this when I was very tired of working. At night, I tried writing a gratitude journal. The writing was just, today a friend treated me to lunch. I am still healthy, and I have time to watch a movie before bed. At first, it felt like nothing special. But after a few days, I realized my mindset changed. I became easier at seeing the positive side, even on a heavy day. The point is, gratitude practice is simple, but if done routinely, the results can really change the way we see life. Speaking of gratitude practice, I'm reminded of one small experience, but very memorable. About 15 years ago, I often bought herbal medicine from a mobile vendor. The price back then was only 0.059 USD per glass. Some time ago, I met the same vendor again. The difference is now the price has become 0.80 United States dollars. What made me surprised, he was still with the same bicycle, still going around, and still consistently selling every day. He only takes a break on public holidays. I've seen for myself around 5 in the morning, he has already started going around. At that time, I was walking, and it turned out he was already prepared to sell. From there, I thought about how great his commitment and consistency are. Then I asked in my heart, what is it that makes him endure for that long? If it's about money, maybe it's not much, but maybe it's precisely because he finds meaning in that process. From shopping for spices, concocting the herbal medicine, to interacting with customers, everything becomes a part of his life. I don't know exactly what his detailed routine is like, but from what I saw, I could learn something. He stays healthy because every day he cycles. He has loyal customers, and most importantly, his life has a clear rhythm. If you think about it, what he does is a real form of gratitude. He enjoys the process, not just chasing the results. He focuses on what he can live through today, not busy comparing himself with others. I've come to realize happiness doesn't always come from wealth or big achievements. Sometimes happiness is simple, like being able to wake up in the morning with enthusiasm, having meaningful activities, and feeling enough with what we have. From that, I learned that gratitude can make us consistent, strong, and still have a reason to endure. That life doesn't always have to join other people's speed rate. Sometimes what makes us most calm is when we can walk with our own rhythm. If you think about it, our life is like a puzzle. Sometimes we are so busy looking at the missing pieces that we forget most of that puzzle is actually already in front of our eyes. From all those stories earlier, starting from research, gratitude practice, to the story of the herbal medicine vendor, I've become even more convinced that happiness is not about waiting for everything to be perfect, but about how we can appreciate the process and small things that we already have. Gratitude makes us stronger, makes us not easily shaken, even though life doesn't always go according to plan. And most importantly, gratitude teaches us to live with our own rhythm, not other people's rhythm. So, from now on, try to give a little time every day to say thank you to yourself, to others, or even to this life. Because it turns out a simple sense of gratitude can be a door to greater happiness.